My dear students, I welcome you all to my educational channel. The name of my educational channel is Priyanka Datta. In this educational channel, you will find video presentations on English language and literature of school level, college level, as well as of competitive examinations. Now, today's assignment is video presentation number 2 on the poem A Photograph. The name of the poetess is Shirley Tulson. Now, the topics to be covered in today's presentation are discussion of stanza 1 of the poem, word notes of stanza 1 of the poem, and paraphrase of stanza 1 of the poem concerned. Now, let us move to the text of the stanza 1 of the poem. The poem begins like this. The cardboard shows me how it was. The cardboard here refers to a kind of board to which the photograph is attached. I have deliberately used the article the because here a specific photograph is meant. Now, to the poetess, the photograph shows how the appearance of her mother was. There is a clear-cut implication that there is a gap of time between the age of the poetess's mother when this photograph was taken and the age of the poetess's mother when the poetess finds her mother sitting beside her. So the cardboard shows the poetess the beautiful appearance of her mother. Now, towards the end of this stanza, I shall explain how this beauty has come in her facial expression. So, in the second line, the poetess tells of a situation when the photograph was taken with the help of the camera, obviously. What the poetess says is that when the two girl cousins went paddling, apart from the poetess's mother, there were two other girls. Those girls were the cousins of the poetess's mother. We all know a cousin is the son or daughter of one's uncle and aunt. So the photograph shows three girls. They were paddling. Paddling means walking in the shallow water of the sea without wearing or putting on any shoe or socks. The photograph shows something more. Each one holding one of my mother's hands. So, both the cousins of the poetess's mother are holding the two hands of the poetess's mother. Clearly, this is an indication that the poetess's mother is standing in the middle and one of her cousins is standing at her right while the other cousin is standing at her left side. And See the big girl, some 12 years or so. Here the poetess refers to the difference in age between her mother and the two girl cousins of her mother. At the time of taking the photograph, her mother was about 12 years old. Her cousins were less than 12 years. The word, or rather the adjective big, here refers not only to seniority in terms of age but also height, which is greater than the two girl cousins. The photograph expresses something more. All three stood still to smile through their hair. The word paddling clearly suggests that the poetess's mother and her two girl cousins are walking. Basically, in the context of the photograph, they are standing in the shallow water of the sea. So, they are somehow free from the turbulent waves of the sea. But it does not mean that these three girls will not have to face the flow of air, which is obviously powerful and which comes from the sea towards the land. So it is that air which has made their hair fly, waft, whatever you may call it. So those hairs are moving everywhere. Still, their smiling faces can be clearly seen. To the poetess, it is a clear-cut suggestion that the poetess's mother was very happy at this moment. Now we have come to know about the description of the photograph. Now, in my earlier video presentation, I told you that a photograph is a picture taken with the help of a camera. So the concept of a photograph obviously embodies within itself the concept of a cameraman. That is, someone has to operate the camera. Now here that cameraman is mentioned. What the poetess says is that at the uncle with the camera, the uncle of the poetess's mother took the shot in the camera. While explaining the first line, I told you that the poetess finds that her mother has a beautiful facial expression so far as she finds her mother in the photograph. I also told you that there are certain reasons which might have given her facial expression a beautiful appearance. Now that thing has been hinted at in this part. What does the poetess say? A sweet face. The word sweet obviously here means beautiful, good looking, whatever you may call it. My mother's. That was before I was born. So it is very obvious that the poetess's mother was 12 years or so. So there was no question of her getting married and of her having a child. So when the photograph was taken, the poetess was not born. It is quite evident to us. Now the poetess says something which is full of meaning, full of deeper significance. What does he say? And the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. I shall move to the last line at first, then I shall discuss the penultimate line. The poetess says that the sea waves washed the feet of the three girls. There is nothing new, nothing shocking, nothing surprising in what the poetess says. From the word paddling, we have got the impression that the three girls are walking in that part of the sea where the water is shallow. So it is quite obvious that the sea waves, obviously having very little power, will wash the feet of these girls. Now the poet qualifies the feet as being transient. Transient means short-lived, having a short existence. Actually, the poetess, by using the word feet, refers to human beings. So it is a case of mentioning a part of the body and suggesting the whole. So human beings are called transient, means having a short existence. We all know that man is mortal. So it is quite obvious that those three girls, by virtue of being human beings, have a limited span of life. Up to this one, the poem does not give us any shock. Now let us move to the previous word, terribly. So the short existence of the three girls in general and that of her mother in particular terrifies, frightens the poetess. Now, why does the short existence or the limited existence of the poetess's mother shock the poetess? The reason is that she did not expect that her mother will die so suddenly. Of course, death comes to human beings all of a sudden, and the near and dear ones of that person, of that dying person, have little to do to save him or her from the clutch of death. So there is a sense of death of the poetess's mother, and this sense of death creates shock to the poetess. The following two stanzas will explain it further. We shall not go to that point Now let us move to the previous line, or rather the penultimate line of this stanza. So human beings have gone through a complete change from having a life to an existence of lifelessness. This is a complete change, and this complete change is contrasted to the change of the sea. What does the poet say? The sea, which appears to have changed less with the passage of time, the poetess has seen her mother moving forward from youth towards old age, and she has also witnessed her mother to die. In contrast, the sea, being a part of nature, has almost embodied eternity, or rather fixity. It has almost maintained its appearance. It has almost maintained its sense of life, its life which is full of activity. There is no end of this activity. Of course, we know that the activity of the sea lies in the waves which come to the shore and move back from the shore. So, through the description of the photograph itself, the poetess moved towards her mother, whose death has been a matter of great shock to her. Now, let us take down some word notes from this stanza. The first word is cardboard. It means a pasteboard on which a photograph is fixed. The second word is it. We all know the meaning of the word it, but the word it here refers to something else. That's why I have included it in the word notes part. Write down the appearance of the poetess's mother. You must mention obviously here, that is in this context, the word it means the appearance of the poetess's mother. The third word is paddling. It means walking through shallow water with no shoes or socks. I have already mentioned, or rather explained this word while discussing the first stanza of the poem. There is another word. It means holding. The word means catching. The final word, terribly. I have just mentioned the word and discussed it. It means frighteningly. Now, let us move to the paraphrase of the first stanza of the poem. You must take it down, or you must be very patient in listening to it. The cardboard, which actually is a pasteboard on which a photograph is fixed, shows the beautiful appearance of the mother of the poetess. Apart from the poetess's mother, the picture shows two girls. They are the children of the uncle and aunt of the poetess's mother. The picture is of a time when they three went to a seaside place to spend their holidays, and were at that moment walking in the shallow water of the sea. The word sea has not been typed here, so you must add here. Without wearing shoes and socks. Let us move to the next slide. The photograph shows the poetess's mother standing in the middle and each of her cousins standing on each side of her. Not only that, it shows that each of them is holding one of the hands of the poetess's mother. At that time, the poetess's mother was taller than the two cousins and was about 12 years old. Though a powerful breeze was blowing and it wafted their hair over their faces, their smiling faces were clearly seen. Now, the paraphrase is here to end. So let us move to the next slide. The photograph also depicts the sea waves washing the feet of the three girls. The uncle of the poetess's mother shot the photograph in his camera. The poetess tells that at that time she was not born and that at that time her mother had a beautiful appearance. It may be that absence of mental pressure which characterizes a mature human being having a family contributed to this beauty. This is the very explanation, or rather the cause of the beauty which becomes evident in her facial expression, which I mentioned in the first line. We all know that human life puts a burden, basically familial life, and this burden becomes reflected in our facial expression. You must not take this burden to be some kind of a material burden, rather you must interpret it as kind of a psychological burden. Whatever it is, I have explained the cause which contributes to this beauty of the poetess's mother. Now I have come to the last slide, which will conclude the paraphrase of stanza 1. Looking at the photograph, the poetess has the realization that in contrast to the changing nature of human life in general and of the three girls in particular, the sea representing nature has gone through minimum change with the passage of time. So this is all I have to say about the paraphrase of the stanza 1 of the poem. Hope that I have become able to make you understand the deeper meaning of the first stanza of the poem A Photograph. Now, before I conclude, I would like to tell you that subscribe to my channel, share my video presentations to your friends so that they can also be benefited from it. Comment your opinion, put forward your queries. I would like to say thank you, and before I end, let us make the announcement that I shall see you again in my next video presentation, which will be on stanza 2 of the poem A Photograph. Thank you once again.